Football galore this weekend. The draft was finally here. Now it is gone. And 15 tight ends were drafted in this year's draft, which is unprecedented. And the Packers decided to take two of them. Luke Musgrove in the second round, Tucker Kraft in the third round. Your thoughts on the tight ends, how many went, and then what are the Packers doing in general with everything?
I got to be honest with you. It's hard for me to knock adding weapons, except when you refuse to do it for the Hall of Fame quarterback who just left town. Like that just...
Really?
Oh, and by the way, drafting Van Ness in the first round, they are allergic to drafting weapons in the first round. Like, they drafted Jaden Reed. They drafted Musgrove. They drafted Cruft. They used all this draft capital. Rico, they wouldn't do it for him.
But I think it's more of a spite thing with the Packers, especially when it came to Aaron Rodgers. It was, you are not going to tell us what to do with our picks. David, as far as the tight end, I think that people are starting to see how they can be a weapon, how if you get one of those difference makers, now they're that mismatch. You cover them with a safety, a corner, a linebacker. So that's why they're becoming that new it toy for the offenses.
Help me understand this. Josh Winfuss, who covers the Cardinals for ESPN, and we can talk about the Cardinals draft and how they set themselves up in a second. But the head coach did not talk to the media over the weekend. It's an interesting move by the Cardinals during the draft. Head coach Jonathan Gannon did not speak to the media after any of the 3 days. First time that's happened that I remember in his 12 drafts. That's what Winfuss tweeted. Your thoughts? I mean, what? Your job is to talk to the media after the draft, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. I mean, even if you just come out here and say how much you hate them and you guys think you know everything. I mean, you could do it in a nice way, the way Brad Holmes did, where he was very respectful, but basically told the media, you know what? Yeah, kick rocks. You guys don't know what you're talking about, but you at least have to say something. Because if not, you're telling them you can make up whatever story you want. But, they have questions, and you'll half answer them, but at least you'll give a half of an answer.
Now let's get into the portion of the Arizona Cardinals setting themselves up for next year. Because If you look ahead to the 2024 mock drafts, they will have 2 of the first 5 picks.
David, they might have the top 2.
That's what this mock draft has them having. Caleb Williams at 1 and Marvin Harrison Jr. at 2.
Well, now that's stupid. But okay, look, the point is they didn't just get a pick from Houston. They got Houston's pick, not their other draft capital. And Houston's going to be bad. There's no illusions to that. So if Arizona does it right, I'll tell you right now, they put themselves in a position where they could trade next year's number 1 pick. Pass on Caleb Williams because they're stuck with Kyler. They're stuck.
Are they still stuck after next year?
$200 million in guaranteed dollars.
Everything I read, I think they can get out after this year.
But how? When they guaranteed, what'd they do? A balloon payment of $100 million last year? David, they
big signing bonus.
They guaranteed him $190.
You got a huge signing bonus.
The point I'm making is fine. If they want to get out, they can get out. What I was going to tell you guys is they could trade that pick and get 3 first-rounders for it. It'll be one of the most valuable number 1 overall picks in a decade. And that could fuel their rebuild. Or apparently they've got a magic bullet they can get out that I have not read about. And we'll go from there. You take Caleb Williams. Either way, brilliant job. You're not going to win this year. Don't pretend. Punt.
Yeah, because it was one of those, right. Like, man, it didn't seem like they gave up a lot. But, yeah, when you put it, the Texans will probably be bad. And even if you end up with picks 2 and 4 next year, you can, with the quarterbacks coming out, you could probably trade away 2, keep 4, swap picks with somebody else, and just keep stockpiling. So, no, they can. Now, the second they can finally get from underneath the contract of Kyler Murray, then that's...
Gentlemen, here is your cap hit if they try to get out. The dead cap number would be $97 million, $81 million. They could get out after 2025. They could get out. And they still get a $33 million dead cap with a $45 million cap hit. Where's this magic out, David?
I have to find the article. I'll find the article.
What page of the New Testament is that in?
I'll find the article for you.
Yeah, because I'm looking at Sports Track, and it looks like probably the most feasible is 2028.
Okay, like I said, it's in the chapter titled "You're Effed." If
Yeah, and that's you get
$316.
$33 million dead cap hit in 28.
Enjoy. Next.
And I know this is just a future mock draft, but this may help me understand what the Washington Commanders did, because this mock has them getting Drake May at 4, because I'm just a little confused at what they did in their entire draft here. They didn't address quarterback. They got back-to-back defensive backs, a center, like,
David,
I'm confused with the Commanders right now.
David, I think you're sitting with a lot of teams who figured, I'm not in love with the quarterbacks at the top,
right,
and I'll take my chances and just wait for and hope that next year's guys will be better. So let's fill up other positions and other roster spots and not just take a quarterback just because we have to take a quarterback.
Here's the other thing, David. They couldn't make these seismic moves when they don't have an owner.
You know what, Mike? You win. You win the day. No, I mean, I didn't think about that, but you're right.
It's just kind of like treading water, right?
They got to call Magic and be like, so who should we draft?
Right.
Magic?
And you know the other weird thing? And maybe that's the reason why they didn't. They didn't pick up the 5th-year option on Chase Young.
They did not.
Why? They don't have an owner. Oh, sure, the sale might be final, could be final. You can't negotiate a deal with a guy. Now, why it's dude, they're a bad organization. It's just it's crazy.
Well, can you explain to me?
No.
Can we just stop giving credit to Bill Belichick?
Why?
Just stop. He grabbed a kicker and a punter in the draft, 4th round and 6th round. The Patriots became the first team since the Oakland Raiders in 2000 to take both a kicker and a punter in the same draft. I think we can now say that it was Tom Brady, and Bill Belichick really isn't that great.
No, you're on your own on that island, David. That ranks right up there with the Kings in 7. No. I think that the game may be starting to slip away from him, but he's won enough that he's grandfathered in. You just kind of trust he kind of knows what he's doing and don't question it. But yeah, all time, don't be that way. It was not all Tom Brady.
Well,
you're better than that.
Here's a guy that never gets complaints. He's actually getting praise from his draft.
Your coach, Omar Epps.
NFL executives around the league are getting annoyed with how much praise Eagles' Howie Roseman is getting, and this is according to Peter Schrager of NFL Network.
I will not take any Howie Roseman slander because that's my spirit animal.
He's built the best roster in football. Now, do I think he's getting a little out of hand with the UGA pipeline thing?
Georgia North?
Well, it gets silly at a certain point. You can't possibly think all these guys are the best at what they do. Can't. And you can't scoop up every falling Georgia player. It just gets a little goofy to me.
Well, the Swift thing, yeah, but I mean, is it really that if they're the best defense and you get as many players from that defense in there? Because here's the thing.
But what's their track record?
They don't have to play immediately.
I understand, but what's their track record? This isn't Miami in the late 90s and 2000s with defensive players.
Right, but
show me Georgia's Ed Reed. Show me Georgia's Ray Lewis, their Warren Sapp, their Calais Campbell.
Right, but I think he is buying in on the ground floor, thinking this is going to be the next you.
Fine. I'm saying that's the one element where I'm like, take it easy. The rest, hey, those guys can get bitter. He's built the best team in football, roster-wise.
Well, if that's the case, then you should be ecstatic over Laporta. Why? Iowa tight end.
Oh, God.
They've proven, right?
That is fair.
He's fine enough.
And here's what I'll close out
the next Kittle.
Football today with, because we don't do draft grades. We don't do that.
No.
But let me give you a winner and a loser from the draft. The winner would be the NFL in the city of Kansas City.
It looked great.
312 people attended that draft.
312 people?
312,000 people. You know what? I'll go back to that number in a second with my loser.
Okay.
And 54 million people watched that over the 3-day period. So the NFL in Kansas City, the city of Kansas City is a winner. And a loser will be
Us.
Detroit, because 312 people will also attend the Detroit draft, and it will be rainy and gloomy.
We're
right?
not ready to host that event, and the weather scares me.
Let me put it like this. The NFL is idiot-proof. You could hold the NFL draft in Toledo, and it's going to be packed, and people are going to show up from all over. It's a traveling circus. Wherever it goes, the NFL is king. People will follow, and people will watch.
Okay,
Breaking
fine.
news, Toledo's taking over.
Fine. Rico says people will be there. Great, he wins. Now let's get to the real part. Does anyone in this room think it's going to look the way it looked this weekend?
No.
Or look the way it looked in Nashville? Or look the way it looked in Chicago? We're not ready for this.
It depends. If you get some giant green screens, yeah, sure.
What is this, a Marvel movie?
To make it look like it's
Pretty
for
much.
CGI.
Yes. Right, CGI, green screens. How you want the district to look, Mike? Because we can make it look that way. All of a sudden, you'll see helicopters just bringing in gigantic green screens. Get the CGI going.
There's not enough CGI technology to make that happen, Rico.
Our green room's going to be an Illich parking lot. The players each get their own parking space with a sofa in it.
It's going to be rough,
I mean,
man.
look, we've done a really nice job with events in the past. We can do events, but this is a different event. This is something where there's a visual element to it.
You are truly hosting outsiders. It's not just Detroiters who are coming in or just for a game that's going to be inside.
And then the weather.
It'll be sunny. I really believe it will be.
David has already guaranteed it's going to be 80 degrees.
Guaranteed.
He guaranteed it.
Thank you, David.
80
Wonderful.
and sunny, 4 straight days.
Added note, Notre Dame is basically saying to NBC Sports, we want, according to Dennis Dodd, $75 million a year.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah. If you want us, you got to pay us $75 million. This is why they didn't want to join the Big Ten, I guess.
They'll get that money.
Is there a Big Ten anymore? Whatever. Just move along.
Wait till USC gets here.
Okay.
And that's
great.
in football today.